Yo, yo, yo! Welcome everybody. Around the Coinverse, episode 45. We got Crypto Rain, Danny the Bull, Doctor of Stuff, the real Randy Chavez, and Queen VeVe. And hopefully we're gonna have a special guest. Hopefully not too long later. How are we all feeling today, guys?
Good. Fantastic.
Man, I'm super excited. Like I had trouble sleeping last night. I was just a bit excited about today. And so, yeah, I think most people know who's coming on. So, it should be good.
Did you say you's coming on?
You know what's happening.
Do you?
That's right. Well, man, we've got a million comments to get through. Whoa, I'm gonna scroll right up. So yeah, thanks everyone for coming on. Wow, 58 viewers instantly. This is the first we've had this many viewers this quickly.
How many views?
Alrighty. Randy, I watched you had a VeVe whale on earlier that did some Funko unboxing. How was that?
That was pretty fun. He got a little camera shy, I think, on the draw. He wasn't really talking too much. But he gets typically mostly sub 100s, where he goes and that's usually what he buys on VeVe, and he's got like 39 million OMI. Trying to get him to 50 and then more. Trying to get him a little bit of grumpy cat. He needs to be a little more convinced on that. But he's excited. He doesn't have a ton of the rest in crypto. Like he has Bitcoin, but that's really it. This is kind of his first. He's never bought NFTs before. He didn't actually know these were NFTs at first. I was like, oh yeah, because XYZ, and I don't know. He really likes it. He got the 212 Iron Man, which is. Typically, it means nothing for most of the rest of the world, but 212 just happens to be an area code in New York, and that's where Tony Stark lives in Avengers Tower, most likely having a 212 area code. So that was pretty cool.
Awesome. Did you guys see, who was it? SoCal, I think, said somebody reclaimed the 001 Funko?
It wasn't the gold and silver. It was just the...
Yeah, it was the uncommon, right?
So
each
of them have their own 001. Is that right?
Yes.
Let's see if David buys it straight on here.
Yeah. Well, we don't know who it is, right? We don't have.
Who has the 001? Yeah, we don't. Intangible.
See, the more that it doesn't come out, the better I feel about my unboxing. You know what I mean? Like
deal or no deal.
Yeah, it's making it better.
So, Laurie, in case people watching don't know,
001 secret rare in there.
It is. I feel it.
So VeVe Queen, guys, who are watching that don't know, she has 6 Funkos, and there's only 1 open, so you got 5 more chances of 5 more chances of 001.
How do you resist opening them? You don't just want to. I don't think I could have the patience.
It's hard. So far I've had amazing self-control, but my husband also was like, when I want to open them, I'm like a mess and I'm not dry, and he wants to video them, and he's like, I know you're not going to let me do it while you're in your robe. So it's been like one of those kind of things. So it's been a lot of laziness, but I did break down and open one, and he was all pissed off. I got it. But
when did they arrive?
Friday. So
sitting on them for a few days.
Yeah, every one of my cats has, sat on them, and so. But the longer, what is that, Schrodinger's cat? You know what I mean? Have you guys ever heard of that? Like, Randy, I know you've heard of it. So it's like you're in a state of not knowing, whether or not it's in there. So you don't really know, so it could be both true and false at the same time. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Like, by not.
That's awesome. We've instantly got 120 people watching now in the first 4 minutes. This is the first. People hyped for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's not us, probably.
Do you guys know that the mystery person is Cavell coming on? No, just kidding.
Great.
That was in one of the comments on.
I think it might be Cody Thrive.
If Cavell's watching this, we should have him on after the special guest. That'd be a lot of fun.
That would be awesome. Yeah. I haven't seen it. Does he still do videos? I haven't really kept up.
Yeah, I think he did a video my husband was telling me just a couple days ago.
He made videos.
And then I think Cal Wilson got on there and said all the, reasons it was good. I don't know. It's crazy.
You can leave VeVe, but it doesn't leave you.
No one.
So that's why some flip to haters, right? Because you can only hate something that you once loved. And so like they can't become indifferent. They just go from love to hate to love again. And that's what happens.
Wow, we've never had this many comments this quickly. I actually just can't get through them. So if when David comes on, may have just revealed it. We will probably just ignore the comments for a little while, guys, and we'll get to them later on. Okay.
There we go.
So
I'm back.
don't worry if your questions don't get answered straight away. Don't stress out.
Yeah, that's gonna be hard to have the audience questions. I feel like we all have. Well, Dr. Stuff, you said you had like 30 that you could bang out anytime you wanted.
So I've said to everyone, we can all sort of have one or two questions for David, and I've got a couple main ones that I want to ask, and yeah, should be awesome. Meow. This grumpy cat.
That is a cool avatar.
So, Randy, what's been happening with Grumpy Cat? Because I actually bought some and I just removed it from my tracker, just so I just left it. It's a moon bag forever. So, has it been going up or down or nothing happening? Or?
Currently, as far as the last month, yeah, it's been going down. We had a couple of. I thought it was originally 2 people that happened to get like liquidated in something else, but then it turned out it was this degen that happened to buy a bunch of Grumpy Cat when it was like a $100,000 market cap, whatever. And now that it's like, $2.5-3 million market cap, then they dumped, which is probably good to get them out now when the market cap is so low, so they don't really go and buy, or they don't really dump in the bull market. But you have 94 of 96 wallets over the since the beginning that haven't sold and have only bought more. And the other 6 of the top 100, those are the ones that have sold. So I'm pretty excited to get the Jeets out first, and then there's a comic book coming out that people don't know about. There's other forms of media that's coming out, and they do have other exchanges that are ready to go. They just need to get a little bit more volume on there first and a little bit more wallet holders before they go and get on those exchanges. But currently, OKX, Uniswap, and all that, a couple of other ones as well, Bitmart.
So, Randy, are you like a paid influencer for Grumpy Cat, or you're just like passionate about the meme coin?
No, I never got paid with them. I don't think I would take payment even if they offered. I like it started off as just, hey, something that Pro the Doge wanted to invest in, and he still never sold, because I had subscribed to him, and I was like, oh, I could get in, and I got in fairly early from my first investment, and then I liked the community, the way it rallied around when the original Grumpy Cat like owner didn't want they like didn't like us, like, oh, this is a scam, and then we're all like, oh, no, we're not. We immediately, everyone put in, I think, like $40,000 to get in like a top Web3 lawyer to like, it's like, hey, we can do whatever we want. And they just rallied around. Like, that's the essence of Grumpy Cat, being anti-authority and just being like, hey, we're not hurting anyone. This is our own independent project. So the Grumpy Cat coin, I really like because of that. So the rally around was really cool.
Awesome. Rain and Dr. Stuff, we've got some questions about animal concerts.
Yeah, I'd love to take this first if that's all right.
Yeah, go for it.
So in the crypto space, if you realize what you're investing in, it's early stage venture capital. You're essentially an early stage venture capital investor in new startup companies. So a lot of people just don't understand how startups work, and sometimes CEOs get changed for whatever reasons, and I don't know the reasons behind that. So it doesn't mean it's a rug pull or a scam or a failure. This stuff happens, and they're still somewhat active and alive, but they're probably in low money mode, like most projects that launch in the last 3 years, because it's a bear market. And it's kind of like cold-blooded animals. When it gets cold outside in the winter, they just kind of go somewhat dormant and they don't move very much to conserve energy. But as soon as the spring comes around, they're up and around and alive and everything's good. And that's what my guess is where things are at with it. I still hold a bunch of tokens from it. I'm not selling at these prices. I have bought more at these prices, and I'm just being patient.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in too, because I reached out. So Rain and I interviewed the previous CEO, on Rain's channel, and they had a lot to say. And since they switched CEOs, we've reached out to them. And one of the first questions I asked, I was just like, hey, like, what's happened? Are you guys still building, or are you still around? And they responded, their official channel responded to me and said, yes, like, we're still building. I said, well, we would love to have the new CEO on at some point to get some information on what's going on, what's building. They have partnered with some of the most mainstream musicians in the industry. Have some significant artists there. So it's still, I think it'll be very interesting. And this is the risky thing for me with annual concerts. Right now, the token is extremely low, but with the Apple Vision Pro coming out and that technology of the AR, and to be able to have or to see concerts using these things like you're in the front seats, it's an incredibly strong use case. It solves a problem. People around the world who can't travel to go see concerts live, but may be able to afford something like, and maybe not the Vision Pro, right? But some of these other AR goggles or something, that technology is there. Man, like this token could explode even just on the narrative. So like Ray said, I'm still buying some. I bought a ton early on. And I'm still buying, but it is a risk. We have not had contact. And if we can get contact with the CEO and ask some of those questions, I definitely would be looking to buy even more.
Awesome. We had a few more questions as well in the comments on Twitter asking about Bump. Rain, are you still buying Bump?
Well, I hate buying cheap. I try to buy really, really expensive. Or wait, no, I do buy cheap. And then I sell when it's expensive. So I have recently bought some more Bumper. Recently they launched their mainnet, and the way it works, this is the weirdest. You would think it happens differently, but when a big release happens, there's an 80% chance the price retraces after that, and only a 20% chance it keeps bumping after. That's just what I've seen over 6 years of this. And so I let my viewers know, those that watched it, I was like, hey, so, we're leading up this big event, price ran all the way up to 10 cents, 80% chance it falls from here. And that's exactly what happened. So it's come down to really inexpensive levels again. And that's normal. And if you look at the actual charting pattern, it forms a nice double bottom, which is a basing pattern. And so if it fell from here, well, then you lose your money. But if it does well from here, and really the time frame we're looking at is in the bull market. What is going to happen to a DeFi company during the bear market? Most likely nothing. 1 in 10,000 DeFi projects will pump before the rest of the market does. Most of them won't. And so that's what I'm just patiently waiting for. And that's why I take a lot of bets, risky bets like Bumper, but huge, massive potential upside that if it does well and its use case gets implemented, it could 1,000 or 2,000x from here. That doesn't mean it will. It just has the potential for something massive like that, because what they're doing is pretty revolutionary if it comes together and works. That's why I like that project, and I'm excited about it. And we'll have another interview with one of their team members actually in a couple of days.
Yeah, Randy and I interviewed the CEO there, and it was absolutely amazing, wasn't it, Randy?
Yeah,
that was.
He impressed the heck out of me, like a lot. Him and the entire team, and obviously, just because you work 90, 100-hour weeks doesn't necessarily mean your project is good. Hi, Magic. But when you do that, it shows that you're willing to do things. Like they had a member of their team literally go and like get divorced because of this. Like he even mentioned that, listen, my wife was a single mom the last couple of years. Again, you don't need to do that necessarily. Like even if you do those types of things, it doesn't mean that you're going to have an amazing product, but that definitely helps. The fact that they have that much dedication to this, I don't think they're going to do that for something that's really small. I think they're going to do that for something that's really big, and I believe it's going to be a huge home run. But, yeah.
Awesome. We've got Mary Davis getting his costume ready. Yeah, Halloween tomorrow for you guys, right?
Yeah.
It's today.
Hey, Vivi, do the kids still go trick or treating?
Yes, of course.
Do you go with them?
It's tonight in Australia.
Oh wait, do my kids still go? I thought you said do kids still go?
Oh, no. I meant no.
No,
he doesn't get the free candy.
No, he stopped at about 11, maybe.
Oh, really? I was still going at 15.
We went till we were like 17.
Yeah,
it's free candy.
Very long time.
Yeah, even in Australia, it's fairly big here. Like there's certain streets you go down that the whole street does it, and there's some areas where hardly anyone does it. Like my actual street I live in now, there's like 2 lots of kids that come down during Halloween. That's it. It's pretty much empty. But yeah, around like a suburb over, there's like the whole area just goes wild during Halloween. So it's tonight for me because we're day ahead. So
Oh, true. Do you guys have Mischief Night over there too?
what was that? Which night?
Do you guys have Mischief Night over there? It's like the night before
No.
Halloween where everyone goes and they toilet paper everyone.
Oh, I've never heard of that. No, we used to do the same thing on Halloween. It was like trick or treat, and people did crazy stuff. I remember when I was younger, like we'd get like a carton of eggs and we'd throw eggs at each other and stuff. It was pretty wild.
This messed me up one day because in New York I don't know if it's still like this, but in 2010, so I was in my own apartment. I was very much adulting, and I could not buy eggs because you had to be 21 and older to buy eggs on Halloween. I was like, God, I just want my protein. I just want my eggs. And they wouldn't sell it to me. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Just because it's Halloween? And
yeah, they didn't do that in Australia. They probably should have.
In New York they did. I don't know. Danny, did they have that?
Yeah, they don't sell shaving cream to kids, anyone under 21, or eggs.
On Halloween. It's like it's a one day like ban on.
Ban. You got to stock up a month before if you're smart.
Toilet paper.
Get ready ahead of time. That's funny as. Awesome. We got 170 people watching, guys. Thanks so much for coming. Woo!
You're here for us only.
Yeah.
Someone's got to leave.
Yeah, of course. It's just.
So you guys go for any drops lately?
I did the post office stamps, the spooky stamps. I got those.
I did. I went for one, and I got the cat. I got the black cat. So it was cool. It was nice.
This is a funny comment.
I'm jealous of the kids around Magic's house. They have 15 pounds of candy. I remember when I was super young, we would go and do like a round and see who gave out the best candy, and then we would switch costumes and go again. Good times.
Yeah, especially if they gave out full-size candy bars.
Oh, dude! When I started dating this girl, we were super young, and her area gave out king-size candy bars. Some people, and I was like, no heckin' way. Is
it like a wealthy area?
Yeah, that wasn't like the best part of the relationship, but that was like 10 out of 10 would date again just to get the king size candy.
That must have been a really good relationship then, if the king size candy bars wasn't the best part of the relationship.
Well, you didn't need her. You still could have went trick or treating.
Right here, MC1.
Yeah, I could have. Oh, I got the. I have my baby shirt. Somewhere. The bed's such a mess.
Somewhere on the bed.
And then I got mine framed that I got signed from David, like the entire team, like Reese, Dan, David, and Rev, LSG all signed that one above. So
you guys, I'll talk just a little bit about it here. You guys know about the charity event. Mm-hmm. We are auctioning off a unredeemed VeVe logo original. So I just want to kind of let
gold and silver
logo for version 1 and lunch with Al, redeemable. And we're starting the bid at $4,000 on that. So anyone interested who has not got a logo yet, you will have the original sent to you from David. So Queen's Court Charity at gmail.com. So I'll be putting stuff out as well.
Yeah, that's not the only thing you get. You get something else with it, right?
Lunch with Al and a couple of friends.
That's worth more than $4,000, right?
That's where I just put a starting bid. Like if nobody bids on it, like to me, that's the reserve price. Like I'll take it. You know what I mean?
I would definitely bid $4,000 for that.
Yeah. So that's kind of where we're just starting at the reserve price. But
Doctor of Stuff just bid publicly.
Doctor of Stuff just bid publicly.
Yeah, he said he'd bid, right?
I would.
You're
Look,
number one.
if you
Queen's
want,
Court.
I'll bid. I'll bid $4,000. I'll start the opening bid right now. I absolutely would do that.
I started.
I want another logo.
I just bid
do want another-
40.69. Suck it.
40.69.
Bidding war live.
40.69.
Queen's
Queen,
Court
check your
Charity. Queen's Court
Check your
Charity
email,
at
I just did.
email.com.
What date is
Auction.
what date is the charity?
It's a silent auction, and we're going all the way up until Thanksgiving Day, because on Thanksgiving Day, Randy and myself will be hanging out with Al for the First Responders Children's Foundation at the Macy's Day Parade. So we're going to announce it then and try to maybe go on stream and congratulate the winner. So
Nice. What made
Can
you
we bid
choose
an
that
OMI?
charity?
Yeah. Lloyd,
Can
do
you
we
bid
accept
it?
OMI?
what? No,
No, don't do
the
that.
charity does not accept OMI currently.
It'd be really cool if
The
they did.
donation, yeah, the donation. The way it'll work is once we get the winning bid, we'll reach out to the person. They'll have so many, days to make a donation directly to the charity, and get the receipt, and then David will send it out. So everything straight to the charity. So I don't think the First Responders Children's Foundation accepts OMI at this time, Randy.
Well, I mean, like,
They
yeah. Yeah. No. Okay.
Well,
So
so I do know that the team, Ecomi team, usually have meetings right before our show. So I'm thinking maybe one of the meetings has run over a little bit. So
Ooh, he'll
hopefully,
have some alpha for us then. I mean, I
hopefully.
won't ask about it, but one of y'all can.
Well, I know that he was recovering from, like, he got some bug right from New York Comic Con, and so yeah, hopefully he's feeling well enough.
Yeah. He wasn't feeling well yesterday. With Rolex and Grubba, they did that stream of the unboxing of like 20 of their Funkos. So he popped in, but he wasn't feeling well.
Yeah.
Hey, didn't you open? Oh, there's your Iron Man. Yeah, I opened one. I got FOMO too. Oh, here we go. And opened one of them. High mint common, but like I just love being a part of this journey. Like I don't know. Part of it is that experience. I do have two more that I'm planning to do an unboxing video with some peeps, but yeah, it's exciting. As I mean, now that there's been a couple mint number ones opened, not as exciting, but that SR number one is still out there, and that's kind of crazy. So,
like I was saying earlier, I know that it, either it still could be, you know what I mean? Like it's not definitely not the secret one, number one. So that's still like keeping me excited. You said a couple, other than the common, was there another number one revealed?
yeah, I thought the uncommon was also revealed, right?
I
Didn't someone? I thought someone said that in the chat. This is not me knowing.
I think it was just the common, but yeah, I think it was just the common.
Okay, all right. I retract those words.
So
Can't
I
expect
have.
fake news.
Got some great comments here.
Mike, I love Mike. He's so fun.
That's the best comments. I just like at least twice every stream he comes on. Like I crack up at something.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, Mark says the uncommon number one as well as the common.
Daily
Both on
Burn
tape.
had so no one's listed it, but only Daily Burn showed that he's tracking that one has.
There you
There
go.
we go. Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Because somebody could have redeemed it and doesn't know about the bounty, right?
Mm.
Or a Funko fan, perhaps.
No, not the SR.
No, the one of the other ones.
Yeah, the uncommon. Yep.
Yeah.
They could have like. Well, if only Daily Burn has seen it, then they've minted it. It's in their account.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm just saying they might not know that David might be willing to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they might not have Twitter. They might not be on
There's
social
like
media.
side action on this. Yeah, they might have just like bought it and redeemed it and don't know the little extra to this one. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of David putting the bounty out on these? I like it. I mean, I think it's fun. It's added extra little dimension.
Yeah, I think it creates excitement. And I think, in terms of partnering with Funko and getting more eyes on the product and leveraging that community and bridging the gap between physical and digital. I think that's a fun way to do it, to draw eyes on the product. And, you see the content creators over there talking about VeVe. And I think that when you do have these a lot of people, their eyes go to the money and they see like, a collectible drops that's worth all this money. Your eyes gravitate towards there. And I think that helps, bring people over. So any publicity, any excitement that can be generated, I think is welcomed. And I think that Funko is a perfect demographic because they're comprised of like our community of people of different fandoms, right?
Mm-hmm. To piggyback off that too, I think, like you said, once this number one is redeemed, if David, you purchases it, or if somehow someone's like, no, I want to see if I can get more for that, and they put it on auction and it goes for even more, with the physical attached to it or something, that's where you're gonna see the Funko groups, right? And that fandom be like, wow, a physical Funko sold for this, and that's gonna make shockwaves in their community. And like you said, like that's going to turn eyes to, well, what's happening over here? What is this NFT? Why is this doing it? So it's almost like David Yu gets to do this double whammy where he gets basically marketing from it, but he really wants it anyways, right? As part of the marketing budget, I'm just going to buy this, but really he just wants it for his personal collection to have anyways. But it provides a lot of marketing and a lot of hype around it. And people have pointed this out, and it's so true. He could have announced that before it sold, right, to cause it to potentially sell out and to create that FOMO. But he waited for it to sell out organically and then made that announcement.
Oh, he would have got so much. People would have crucified him if he would have said that before.
Yeah, but that's lame. That's lame. That who cares?
I agree. Right? It's marketing, right?
It is marketing, and they can do it that way. But he did.
But people would say it was manipulation, and
it was wise of him to wait because it sold out organically out of people actually wanting to buy them when it was cut off from Europe and it was only available in America. So it showed that there was organic demand for the product, and then he gets to add that little cherry on top, and we get that extra.
Yeah, and this wasn't a good line either. If you listen to Gasselcast, those are the two people that are like super into Funko. That's what they make their videos on. They're like, listen, we don't really. Their first video is like, we don't really know anything about VeVe, but we do know this line, and for the fact that this gold line sold out where it really shouldn't have, because nobody really likes that, was like a testament to how powerful the VeVe fan was. I guess there's a bunch of different lines. I don't know which ones are like super popular, like the chases. Apparently, these ones typically are not. But the fact that it did so well in just one country is really cool. Really bullish on that.
Do you guys think that they'll be able to figure out a way logistically to do these sales globally? Because the shipping has got to be a nightmare with customs and all of that, right? Because I bought some for people, some of the VeVe fam overseas. What a freaking nightmare that was to get all of that squared away just to ship it myself. And so if you think like, oh, they dropped like 10,000 of these and they've got to ship it to 50 different countries, or, you know what I mean? I wonder if that's something that they'll be able to tackle, or if somehow they'll be able to do the reverse where they drop the digital and then you can claim the physical and maybe you have to pay shipping. I don't know, like if there's a way to kind of work that out. What's your guys' thoughts on that?
That's hard because I mean Funko's an American company, so they could have. I mean, if you have an international company, I think the better thing to do, which it's going to suck for people that don't get it, but the better thing to do would be like, hey, we're going to use, let's say, our partnership with Alibaba to go and do a specific drop in Asia, and if you're not in America, you're SOL. If you're in Europe, SOL, it's only for Asia, and then they might have something else that they do just in Europe. I feel like they might have to do something like that, just because, again, the logistics on something that big, especially where there's going to be a global enterprise, is going to be really, really hard. Just my opinion.
Let's see.
Everyone else?
So who's still buying OMI?
I'm actually going to buy some more probably next week because everything else has run up that I have. and OMI's kind of like it's still holding at like that 0008. So I'll probably buy another million next week.
Nice. And what's your goal, Danny? Do you have a particular goal?
No, I don't have a goal. My goal was 1 million a couple of years ago. I blew past that.
Nice.
I keep moving it. I'm around 20 right now. I'm not a big dog like you, but I'm going to add a bit.
20 mil is plenty. When it gets to 10 cents, what's that? Is that $2 million?
Yeah.
4? No, 2. Yeah, it's 2.
Yeah.
That's still not bad.
Pretty
And if
legit.
it gets to $1, that'll be $20 million. Not financial advice.
I have I finally framed this Alex Ross photo. I hope we do get him on. I hope we get him on the app. So you see the Ghost Rider we just got today. I obviously didn't get him on the app. But all of these guys, the Alex Ross, I think it'd be really cool if we went and got him. Are there any other artists you guys want to see on the app that we just don't have yet? Whether comic book or non-comic book.
I wish I could say I knew the different comic book artists better.
I love more Peach Momoko stuff. I mean, the VeVe fam is really big into Peach Momoko, so I've just seen some of her art, and it's just phenomenal. So I definitely would love to see more Peach Momoko covers on some of these, like different variants.
I had a comment on the picking up more OMI, though. I mean, I'm changing my investment strategy. I've been listening to a lot of people who, have a lot of opinions, who live in their mom's basement and they're maybe 50 years old and they're working at McDonald's. And they've convinced me that I need to wait till things are really high to buy it, and that I shouldn't buy OMI while it's cheap, and that it's probably dead, and that I should just wait till it's really expensive and then buy it hoping it goes higher. It's a great idea, right? Instead of what I've been doing, which is I buy things when they're cheap and they have strong fundamentals, and then I hold till they're expensive. I'm going to try buying expensive and hope that it goes really expensive. Great idea, right? I mean, generally, it's fantastic to take financial advice from people who leave YouTube comments that probably live in their mom's basement at age 50 and probably work at McDonald's.
That's fine.
That's what it seems. You get a lot of haters, right? And that's just, obviously, I'm being facetious. Yes, I just bought more OMI. Why?
Did you have a bad day today, Rain?
I was trying to be
mean
funny,
to you
and
today,
on
Rain.
a scale of 1 to 10, I was probably a 2 there. So I guess my sarcasm is off for the day.
No, I find it funny. What's crazy is we're about to hit 200 live viewers. We've never hit those numbers before.
So yes, I just picked up more OMI. I love everything below 0.1 cent. So what are we? 0.084 last I bought. So yeah, just stacking more OMI.
Oh, man. Mike's added again, guys. I'll just quickly read it. David has so much power in our relationship that I'm fine that he makes me wait on his beck and call. I'll cook him his low main, wash his briefs, and wear his lipstick just to see his smile on his face. Oh my God.
Did he get his other one?
Totally
He had another one up there that was just like a banger. I was
so
dying. I was dying.
Yeah. We have actually a pretty good question here. I think it's happened a few times now. I don't even say that name, but basically thoughts on how each gem, they only get 68% of the revenue because of app fees. That's not including secondary, where they don't have to pay any app fees for secondary.
Yeah, so Tokenomicon is going super, super bottom of the barrel there with, yes, anything that's bought on the actual app, like the phone app for Apple and Google, you got to pay that 30% too. But that's just that. So obviously, when we only had that option and VeVe was still functioning, you should probably come to the conclusion that VeVe has greater than 30% margins. Again, in tech in general, things that you could scale up very easily, that you only really have to do the work for once and then just stamp a number 1, 2, 3, however many mints there are. Most likely, you probably have 60% margins for that. So even if we go and we say that they're not 60% margins, even if let's say they're 50, that's still 20% on everything that's just bought from the app, not including the stuff that's bought from the web app where they don't have to pay any of that at all. Plus you have the 10% cash out fee. So that trying to say that they only get 68% is a really, really gross understatement or a gross over exaggeration of that. So that's just kind of my take.
Yeah, Living
Yeah,
Aloha just made a video on the whole topic. I haven't gotten to watch it yet, but his stuff is pretty good. He's not very, I don't think his channel is very well known. He doesn't really put out too much content on VeVe or OMI, but he tracks like the sales of collectibles, and he did a whole breakdown on the gems. I got to check it out.
Yeah, I think too that they do make money on secondary market sales. So I think every time Todd McFarlane Batman sells, and they were originally selling 80 gems, whether they're for 800 now, it was several thousand. So say when it was 4,000, every time those change hands, they made 80 gems worth. So there are other revenue sources, but that was a model where it took 30% right off the top for Google in the App Store. And I think that's semi-monopolistic or cartel level behavior, that because there's so few options, they can get away with charging so much. VeVe, thankfully, they found a way to work around that. And there's a lot of NFT projects that are hurting because of that have to do these crazy workarounds because the gateway is locked, and 30% into revenues like that is massive. So especially if they weren't ever doing a cash out, it wouldn't be as big of a deal. But having a situation where you can do a cash out, then it's a really big deal.
It's not an ideal situation.
Yeah, I think the good news is that Elon Musk is really challenging Apple, right, and kind of pushing towards taking them to court of that, because obviously Twitter X is an app on Apple, like, and as they're getting revenue streams or anything that comes in that way, he's having to get that 30% taken off the top as well, and it is monopolistic. But I do think that VeVe they have to be focusing on driving people more towards a web app, right, where they're getting 100% of that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see that in the future, where they start to make a push to develop mechanisms to where it makes sense, or there's a benefit for us purchasing the gems on the web app, in the near future, because 30% is just massive, and it's not super sustainable. Like, yes, we do get these revenue streams from secondary sales, and as long as secondary sales are going okay, like that's fine. But yeah, to calculate how much money they're actually making off those secondary sales to cover that 30%, there's got to be a lot of churn in there for that to happen. And so I think long term there has to be a bigger solution. But then once it happens, man, think about the revenue, the additional war chest that VeVe is going to have. And that's what makes me excited, is as they start gearing people or pointing them towards a web app where they're getting 100% of those funds and don't have to pay Apple 30%, all of a sudden their revenue stream jumps significantly.
So do you think that was circumvented? Like Dr. Profit, right, Randy? How much has he put in? I don't know.
To the app or OMI?
20 million in the app. 10 million, 20 million. Was that really all bought through Apple? And God, I hope not. Like, I hope they didn't eat 30% of, all the money he put in.
There was, at the beginning, yes. I mean, at the beginning, you could only, we just didn't have that option for the web app. And then as it went on, he did crypto pay-in, he did they had the issue where they would only give you, I think, 10,000, per week that you could buy from the web app.
But I'm talking before that, like when he wanted to put in $1 million, did he really sit there with his credit card on Apple and do $600 for?
Well, I mean, at that time there were, gems that you couldn't cash out. So they were like, okay, I'll just do this. I have X amount of gems. That's the only way you could really do it, just because you can't just do 600 at a climb. That's
because I remember people complaining, like, why couldn't you just call VeVe, and just give them, you know what I mean? If you had a really big transaction, just send it on over and get the gems. With that 600 limit. I don't know if you guys remember that, but if you were trying to get something that was like 5, just keep pressing 600 and hope that you got it. It was horrible.
You had to check, and then your bank would reject it when they would see like 3 transactions of 600 trying to go through. Yeah, that was a pain.
Yeah. But think about that year they did 150 million in revenue. I think that was pre-web app, right?
Yes, it was. That's what I'm talking about.
30% off the top. And then you've got to cash people out 100%. So that's the thing also, is that every gem is a liability. and they have to cash people out. I would prefer to see a day when transactions on the secondary market are peer-to-peer, and this way they're not stuck having to back everything up.
Yeah.
So when you say peer-to-peer, how would that function? So we just like I do my credit card and
Or
purchase.
ideally through OMI or crypto.
Oh yeah, through OMI would be massive, right?
Yeah.
And then they could still take a percentage of that and burn it, right? And then keeps even some for fun. Yeah, that's another good resolution, so that they don't have to back that 1-to-1, because long term, yeah, even like if there was a massive influx of users, that becomes kind of scary actually if they're all putting it on through the mobile app as opposed to the web app.
Hashtag win Tesla phone. I hope Elon Musk continues with that and launches it, right? Because that would then you would have a major competitor in there to both Android and the Apple stores.
He wants more Starlink out before he's able to release that, just because they're going to want that internet to be not gone through AT&T, Verizon, whatever.
Yeah.
So as they go and do that'll happen. They have so much money. I think on their Q3 earnings report, they have like 26 billion in the war chest. They're just ready to go. They're just. Yeah.
It's exciting, and I like his product. I saw, his first Tesla trucks are coming out, and like I saw one they put they shot it with a bunch of bullets, right, and all the dents in it because it's bulletproof, like out of the thing. That's awesome. Yeah,
not
like
sledgehammer proof.
The innovation. I know. I saw that. The
You
innovation.
need a bulletproof car. What kind of life are you living?
Good one. Fun one.
Well, he was showing this demo, right? And he didn't realize the one they had put up there wasn't one of the ones that was reinforced. So he hit it with the sledgehammer, showing how it's not breakable. And the window just collapsed. And he's like, oh, well. Look, this window won't break. The sledgehammer goes right through it.
To be fair, though, Rain, it didn't actually break. It shattered, but it's still held together. So if someone's trying to hit you with a sledgehammer, you're still you can drive off after that, right?
Yeah.
Can you see out the window?
Did you guys hear that?
The side window, I think, right?
Yeah. But
like a couple years ago.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I was going to say there's possibly a video coming out soon of a Cybertruck versus an F-150, and they're going to be shooting with like a Tommy gun for both cars. And the Cybertruck is properly bulletproof now, I believe. So that would be awesome if they put that video out. I think, are they launching it this year? Randy, did you know the Cybertruck?
Sorry, 1 second. I got a thing to.
Anyways,
did you see that live video? And I don't know if it was doctored or something, but someone was driving next to the Tesla truck that had been shot, like it had all of these bullet marks in it and stuff. Yeah. And they're like, we think that this is like the live version of that truck. That's pretty epic for them to be driving that around. That's remarketing just that, right? Because then that video goes viral. They're not paying anything.
Elon Musk is brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess he's pretty close to the.
How long can y'all be on for?
I'm good to go on for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I can't quite do a Randy level stream. Well, I guess I could. I would have to push
69 hours.
Down.
Why? It's 69 hours. Why do you ask, Randy?
I'm happy to go for 2 hours.
We can be. I'm just letting. Let me send a message in chat. There's a current meeting that is about to be going on, so there'll be that just went from one to like the other is about to go to another. So
yeah, I understood meetings are a big thing today, specifically the day today.
Yeah, Mondays are usually in general. What do you call it? So I mean, I don't know how long this next meeting is about to last, but it'll. I'm here. I'll be here forever.
We're just gonna keep streaming, guys.
Tuesday morning prime time for them, right? So and it's typical in corporate world that Tuesday mornings are like back-to-back meeting.
So everyone watching, you guys just have to stay with us. Stay with us for another hour, guys. Come on.
I'll hold down the ship if you need.
I'm here.
I'm interested, Jordan and Randy, because you guys follow Tesla so much. This is a good point here that Jay Tent makes. What if you're trapped inside a Cybertruck and have to get out? How do you get out of one of those things?
So, Dr. Stuff, I'll answer that with what I know from my Tesla. Is everything's electronic, right? There's a button to push to get out of the car. But Elon Musk is a little bit smarter than that. He put a mechanical lever that you can use as well to get out that doesn't use electronics. So if the car ever runs out of power or anything, there's a mechanical lever you can pull that will let you out of the car.
Okay, but let's say that the only way out would be through a window, because like the doors are shut, like are blocked or something. Like you drive off of a bridge or something.
Yeah, you're in trouble then. You're in trouble then. They did those. Even normal cars, like if a normal car falls in water, you've got like 3 seconds to get out before it's impossible. Right? Yeah, even normal cars.
Before the pressure,
but you can break the glass, right? You can break the glass and get out that way.
I think they did test it. It's very hard to break glass.
Well, no, if you ever are heading like off a bridge into the water, roll down your windows.
You got like 3 seconds to get your windows down.
And then you wait to the water until you can't go anymore, and then it equalizes the pressure and you can get out.
Yeah. So it doesn't suck you in. See, look at this. We're teaching you guys life-saving skills.
Really important.
Drive into the water, guys.
So that when your Ferrari, because you bought so much OMI, and you accidentally drive it off a cliff because you're doing 150 kilometers per hour,
The Cybertruck floats though, so you won't have that issue with the Cybertruck.
There you go. It's a boat. Yeah, they do that in the Model 3 as well. You can there's people driving it in water, and it uses the wheels as propellers, and you can.
That's amazing.
And it floats.
It's like airtight, right? It like seals up, and it's just like a boat.
I'm sure it's not good for it, but it'll get you through.
That double works for me because I can't really swim, so I'll be.
Are you like in One Piece? You've got a special power.
I can doggy paddle my way for a while, but I'm not
in the military, right? I thought you don't have to do swim tests. There's got to be something like that.
No, not for the Army.
Not for the in the Air Force you don't have to. I did. So when I tried out for Battlefield Airman, there was like 12 different types of things that you could do, and I only qualified for 3 of them because of the lack of swimming, and. I didn't get picked either way, so
Randy, you gotta get some swimming, man. That's a life skill that you need, bro.
I can't swim either.
Yeah, in New York, New York, you're not really surrounded unless you travel to the beach. In New York, there's like no bodies of water around you. Like I know we're technically an island.
Pools, like swimming pools.
Yeah.
Cement ponds.
That's crazy.
I can keep myself afloat for a while, but
we've all seen you with traps in the bath, so we know you can be.
Poor Brittany on our cruise last year. She was kind enough to bring like a floaty so that I could be like in this little swan floaty. Well, we're in the ocean. She's probably something.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Good time.
Randy. We're going to teach you to swim at the 10-cent OMI pool party.
There we go.
The last thing we need is for Randy to drown at the 10-cent party. It would be ironic.
How's Randy going to come off his yacht?
All that OMI down the drain, literally. Nobody has access to the wallet. It's gone.
You better give us the keys just in case.
Yeah, just in case.
Yeah, look, just give me the seed phrase. I'll protect it. I'm good.
Give us 3 words each.
No,
that's a good one.
Teach you how to swim.
Multi-sig.
What time is it over there in New Zealand?
It's 2 hours later, so it's about midday.
Oh, so it's like 10 to 12.
Yep.
Okay, so be advised. He's got one starting at 12, and then another one at 1. So he's kind of playing catch up because he was sick after New York Comic Con, as you guys know. If we have to go here for 3 hours, I'm game. But I know that nobody really else.
I cannot swing that. I cannot. Swing that.
I could come back if you hold the fort.
I'll hold the fort. I'll do.
I was gonna say, couldn't we drop and come back? Can we reschedule?
I'll hold the fort. Yeah, I mean, if y'all want to take a power nap for a couple hours and come back, I got.
For me, it's the mornings. I'm actually pretty good.
This is what I've been training for my whole life.
Not swimming.
3 hours for Randy is like running a quarter mile versus somebody who runs like marathons.
Like 60
so I'll
hours.
tell him
I'm going to the
that's cool. Let me know when you're done, and we'll be here. And then if y'all want to come back, all right, that is sent. So it is official. I cannot take it back. Omar's here for 3 hours. All right, let's get the spread.
While we're here, why don't we talk about everything on anyone's mind who is still here, crypto related, right? I mean, we did talk about swimming and we did talk about the Cybertruck and Tesla phones. But in the crypto space, what are you guys thinking? Like, what's on your mind is like massively undervalued? We're probably somewhere near the end of the bear market. We'll probably roll into the bull market somewhere between 2 months from now, but more likely 12 to 14 months from now, or could be even 2 years from now. What things are massively undervalued that you're like, oh my gosh, that is so cheap. It shouldn't be that cheap.
Is that a question to all of us for our crypto holdings?
Yeah. Jordan, Danny, Doctor of Stuff, Randy.
I'm going to get out my phone and check my.
A lot of
my
stuff
locale.
has really gone up recently. So, I mean, the stuff that I like is the micro caps are games for a living.
Ooh,
I'm really kind of digging, specifically because of the narrative behind it. You know, I think a GameFi is going to be huge next cycle. And the fact that their founder was the vice president of King Barcelona, which is the #1 mobile game app that created Candy Crush. And their #2 is the creator of EA Sports.
It's in the game.
They have 3 games already that have been built. So they have a product out. And I think with that team behind them in that sector, I think that's something that could catch fire. It's run up quite a bit, though. It's been on like a steady run over the last couple of months.
They're pushing into some pressure that most people aren't aware of, in that their pre-sale investors are all of a sudden going to start getting their tokens vested.
Right.
Now, that doesn't guarantee that they'll sell them, but that's almost always what happens. And they're probably up. Jordan, I'm going to share my screen because I like this project a lot and it's been on my mind a lot. So let's talk in depth about it because I like the fundamentals behind this. So they just broke to the upside of this. So they're probably going to run higher in the short term.
What's the ticker there? I can't quite read it.
Hey, sorry guys, real quick. David was asking if we could move this to the same time tomorrow.
I mean, I can. Wait. What time? What day is that?
It's the same time tomorrow. Just 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow.
I don't think I can. Kids stuff.
So that'd be 11 a.m. his time, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I might be able to do it. We'll see.
Okay. Anyone else? Does anyone else have?
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah,
I could probably make it happen.
Yeah.
Well,
Question mark
I
for
mean,
me.
we got to make Jordan make it happen. I mean,
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
And if Jordan is in,
the kids have music class, but we'll just go next week.
All right. Doc, you were saying?
Sacrifice the kids. They'll be fine.
So Doc, you were saying before I send this message?
Oh no, I've got some kids stuff too. So we'll have to see. I'm a question mark, but I still enjoy. Look, if I just get you guys, it's not just you guys. I love this panel too. You guys are awesome. So.
Exactly.
Okay, copy that. So 11 a.m. All right, 11 a.m. his time will work. Your time, okay.
No worries. Done. Sorry, everybody watching. We've lost a few viewers that are obviously really waiting for David.
Sorry, guys.
We're still running strong at 174 people watching, guys. Not bad.
So let's give them some value. Let's talk about some of the things that are on people's mind, at least those that are here in the crypto space for like investment side, right? There's some in the VeVe community just strictly for the collectibles, which is cool. Maybe this will add some value, but games for a living, you have top level industry experts coming in and build this. The only thing that's concerning to me about it is it just came out, and look at their price increases here because people hadn't really heard of them before. And they had a delay on their unlocks for their tokens, but they're going to start unlocking to their pre-sale investors their tokens, which usually puts downward price pressure on it. So far, the tokens are nothing to increase. And sometimes I Google GFAL, what is it, ICO price or things like that. And sometimes I'll be able to find like some history on what the pre-sale price was. Pre-sale price, and if I can, crypto rank, yes, might give us some good information. Then we'll know what price the people who bought initially. So it looks like the IDO price was 0.4 cents, and it's way up from there. So it's almost 10x from there, and that's just the IDO price. So those that bought in pre-sale are going to have it even cheaper than that. So yeah, be careful that it.
Yeah, I anticipate some sell pressure along the way, especially since like it's a gaming token. So typical of gaming tokens, I think they're only like 11% of coins in circulating supply. By 2025, they'll be 50%. So it's going to be an aggressive unlocking of tokens, which I think in a strong bull market that can be mitigated. You saw like Gala Games had a similar tokenomics last cycle, and it outperformed, I think, even OMI. I think Gala might have been number 1 and OMI was number 2 in terms of total gains from bottom.
A little bit of good news. David said after this meeting he can pop in for 20 minutes. So we'll get a little bit of him today. A little bit of him today. We get everyone's got to send that tweet out. Be like, hey,
come back on, guys. Come back.
Nice. So it is interesting how the space has been running up. Have you guys followed that Miria also pumped? This is one that I was telling my audience that like was really, really cheap all down here. And then I'm not sure what led into this momentum, but it broke to the upside. It then traded sideways. People can see it just kind of traded sideways, broke to the upside again, traded sideways. Looks like it's breaking to the upside. And so I had some sell orders at around 0.6 cents just to take a little bit of profits out to the side. Most of it I'm holding for much, much, much higher prices because a lot of these gaming tokens, like I think the next bull run, I think a lot of the momentum is going to go into gaming projects. So I'm really excited about things like games for a living, though I haven't loaded up yet because I want the price to come down. Miria, one of the top future ones, in my opinion. Gala's made themselves less relevant by some very bad decisions. And this sometimes happens when things shoot off like a rocket. They get ahead of themselves and they think they have so much market power and they release these NFTs that in order to play their game and you get a legendary NFT, it costs you $12,000 and it gives you a little bit of perks. But then like in order to get a basic one, you have to pay $500 for the basic one to play their games. And then they give you tokens, but like that model is a terrible model and they haven't updated from that model because they were making a killing. But people buying their $12,000 NFTs weren't making a killing. And so they're still kind of running along that model, as well as some other interesting decisions and then fighting between the founders. Unless they right that ship, I just don't see that Gala is going to be relevant in the future.
They have a lot of issues.
Their price, their market cap is already so high. I'm looking for the next up and comers.
Yeah, Miria is a good candidate for that because it has like a similar model to them. And I think, when in looking at Gala and the troubles they've had over during this cycle, like the founders are like suing each other for like stolen crypto or whatever.
Yeah, and that's a total mess, right?
Yeah. So I think Miria could, be one that people look at. It's up like 40% in the last week or something like that. It's been crazy.
Lord, the Iron Man's about to eat it.
What's that?
The Iron Man's about to get down.
No.
My Miria holdings have gone up like it's now my 6th biggest holding now.
Miria has been on a tear the last few days.
And Solana too. My Solana's
been very strong.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So there was I'm going to find it for you, Danny, because I've said my thoughts on Solana, but like in our chats, you guys have kind of been persuading me a little bit. But one of the big things. Let me find this real quick. I'm going to read it, but there was an analysis done. Let me find it. You guys go ahead and talk. I'm going to find this real quick.
Okay. Back in, it might have been earlier this year, maybe last year, we had Microsoft announce a partnership with Anchor, and they had a big pump. They pumped like I don't know, like 70%. And then because of the bear market, it kind of fizzled. It's down now lower than it was before the original announcement. Have you guys taken a look at them?
I got a tip from somebody and I ended up buying some, and it did really well.
Yeah, no. I mean, I've looked at Anchor a couple of times, but I never bought any.
Did you hold it, Randy? I know you bought some.
I had some, and then the announcement I was like, oh, nice, free money. So I just took the, I took the win.
Same here.
But I have kept up with it a little bit, and they've gone on and they've said, hey, we have, we're going to need every token at some point. They just haven't gone on and really shown us like what it's going to be or what it's going to be about. So.
Okay, all right, I found it. Are you ready?
Yeah.
So Van Eck estimates Solana's price. So they have like a base, a bear, and a bull.
Yeah,
case.
it was big disparity.
Massive disparity.
Yeah.
But like anywhere from per token, anywhere from $335. That's the base. The bear is $10, but then the bull is $3,200.
Yeah, $3,000.
Yeah,
that's 100x. That's 100x on the
Yeah.
current price right now.
Which
yeah.
was that a couple trillion in maybe?
But here's one thing that I think that people kind of fall into this trap is they compare previous top market caps to now and be like, okay, Bitcoin, oh well, $1 trillion market cap, that's impossible.
No, yeah.
But if Bitcoin hits 100 grand or 200 grand or something, then all of a sudden it's all relative, right? To whatever Bitcoin and ETH are doing, because people take those gains and then they pump them into, it trickles down there. And so all these other market caps can get massively overinflated to places that people never would have expected before. So it does rely a lot on what happens to Bitcoin. But
I do think that those layer ones, like the layer ones that win long term, will have those market caps of being $1 trillion, because they're going to have all the activity. Everything's going to be built on top of them. It's kind of like I view them as the big tech of the space. The Googles, the Microsoft, they're the infrastructure of the entire space. And when you get into like tokenization of everything, and decades down the line, when the stock market is eventually, trading on blockchain, what's it going to be running on? It's going to be running on chain. So,
yep,
they're going to be settling massive amounts of transactions.
So, with respect to, I reached out to Animal Concerts again, and I just said, "Hey, touching base, what's going on?" And so I said, just touching base to see if we can get someone on the team to the channel so we can update many of our subscribers who believe in the project but are concerned that the project may be dead. And they responded, and they're like, Animal Concerts is not dead, please. We'll be making an official announcement on the roadmap and progress made so far in due time. And I'm like, yeah, like an announcement on the roadmap, that's not going to do it for people. I'm like, even if you can't come on our channel, go on someone's channel. People need to see the team. They need to be updated verbally. They need to see that people exist. So we'll see what they say. But there is someone still monitoring the Animal Concerts Twitter account, and they're responding. So
yeah, it's always helpful that they respond, right? A lot of times I've seen a lot of projects come back to life because I was around in the last bear market, and a lot of projects you thought were dead, just like kind of the cold-blooded animal, maybe the snake or the lizard that you see in the winter that's barely moving, or it isn't moving at all, and you think it's dead, and it comes right back to life in the spring. That's going to happen to a lot of projects. And Animal Concert, I can't see what their market cap is, but their fully diluted market cap is 2 million. And if all the tokens were in circulations at the current price, it'd still only be a $2 million market cap. What I like about some of these riskier projects, it's like when you go to the casino, what are your odds on the roulette table? Anyone know?
No,
is it fair to say because they have 3 things?
37?
Yeah, I think it's about 47 to 48.5% chance of winning. And if you win, you double your money. And if you lose it all. So over time, you're going to lose. What I like about in the crypto space and some of these riskier stuff, let's say there's a 40% chance it fails, a 40% chance. So if it fails, you essentially lose almost all your money or all of it. Right now we're in the bear market and in the bull market. So if they survive to the bull market, fair to say with a really low market cap like that, they'll probably do 10x to much, much higher numbers. So here I'm just playing the odds. 60% chance that they survive into the coming bull market. And if they do, they'll go up 10x or more. Okay, so 60% chance that I can make 10x or more on my money, 40% chance that I lose it all. Who would take that bet over and over and over again? I would, every time. I mean, it's the reason I can't ever go to the casino, because I go to the casino, I'm going, this is guaranteed to lose. I don't like these odds. These odds are terrible. But these kind of odds, and people say, oh my gosh, you could lose your money. And you're like, yeah, right. 40% chance. Being realistic. It might even be lower than that. I might be very pessimistic. The chances might be much lower than that. If it sticks around, like the metaverse narrative is going to come back. And when it does, it's going to be huge. And everything related to the metaverse narrative is going to go crazy. So if they're still alive then, it probably won't just 10x. It might 50x. It could 100x because its market cap is so low. Its fully diluted market cap at 100x from here would still only be 200 million. That is a really easy number to hit. So like, I wish I could go to the casino and get anywhere near these odds, but this is why I'm in crypto. Real estate, you don't have these kind of odds with this kind of potential return. Nothing else gives you this type of odds with this kind of return. But a lot of the crypto space, what you're doing is you're just filtering out the 70% that is complete shit that you don't want to touch. And then you're sifting through the 30% that's remaining for where the odds are stacked for you rather than against you. Now, I personally stay away from meme coins. I know some people that have made money with them. They're just harder for me to evaluate what their potential is than something that has a use case like animal concerts. We know all these top artists. We know that the virtual reality or metaverses want to have top artists do concerts in them, and we have all the connections with the artists. We want to help set that up and arrange it and video it and film it. Okay, that's a use case that very much makes sense. That is likely to be a really big narrative in the coming bull run. Okay, that's the type of stuff I'm looking for. And I'm being open-eyed that it could still fail. Cool. I'm going to take that bet, though, over and over again.
One of the other projects I saw, which does have a big name attached to it, is Darcy Donovan's Income Island, where she's incorporating her Star Dogs project in her movies, where if you have, depending on a certain dog that you get, which NFT, you can go and get either proceeds from the movie, or you can be on the red carpet at the movie, or just the character in the movie, or movies, because there's a bunch of these planned. And then you have the Income Island, is that metaverse where you could go in and obviously you'll be able to get land there. You'll be able to put all your NFTs in there. The only thing they're kind of really missing right now is really big IP. That would be the only other thing that I think could have like this potential type of 100 or 1000x return. But again, it's kind of missing the IP.
Randy, I feel like they could build in the VeVeverse, and that would instantly get them that user base and also the IPs there.
They probably do. I'd love to see them do like a crossover and be able to have stuff interoperable. I mean, I know everything's going to be able to go into VeVe, but yeah, I'm just curious to see how they handle certain things and maybe not VeVe's licenses, maybe their own IP might be able to go elsewhere. Currently, we just have the logos, but hopefully some other characters can be introduced.
What's fun about the crypto space is it makes all this stuff possible between cryptographical encryption and blockchain, right? Where you can have much greater interaction between those who produce movies and the end supporters that are buying the things. And so some of these use cases will play out and change things. Like, who would have imagined back when the internet and there was dial-up in America Online and you had to wait for forever, that down the road we would have a supercomputer in our hands, essentially a phone that could be connected to the internet while you're out hiking and map out everything for you. And then you could reach your bank and you could pay bills while you're in the mountaintop. Because before you didn't even really have cell phone service out there. And so that kind of shows you how fast things can move. We're going to see crazy stuff come about because of blockchain, and cryptographical encryption will unlock the next phase of what the internet can do. And some of the stuff is just hard to imagine what's going to happen.
Ray, we have a question for you here. How many significant projects are you in? Not coffee money.
Significant projects. Well, it depends on what kind of significant project. Meaning anything I invested over $1,000 in. probably like 150.
Oh,
Oh wow, that's awesome. I'm at about 20 projects, around 20.
I'm in 3.
I think like 5.
Yeah, 21 for me.
Wait, you mean like projects or like currencies?
I think yeah, sort of like crypto tokens or
Or
coins.
NFTs related to it, right? So like I'm in NFL all day.
Okay, yeah, I guess it'd be a little
That's
more.
one project, right? But I have, I don't know, about 25,000 into that UFC strike. Yeah, some money in that, and just NBA Top Shots. I haven't bought anything new on that since it came out in 2020, but I put about 1,100 into it, went to 185,000, and now it's worth like 16,000 last I checked. And people are like, "Oh, you're way down." I'm like, "Am I?" Put $1,100 into it. I'm still waiting. People are like, "When are you going to sell it?" And I'm like, "When I can buy $1 million house with it, then I'm selling it."
Yeah, nice.
And they're like, "When's that going to be?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't care. I put $1,100 into it. It'll be fun." I'll like the statement. Do I watch basketball? No. Do I like LeBron James? Well, as long as his card is, or his moment is going up in value, I love it.
Yeah. So that's still a 15x, which is an awesome return. Like I think we need to give people that are new to crypto like the overview of what a stock market really is. Sort of like average 5 to 10% per year if it is a good return, and that means like 10 years to 20 years just to get like a 2x in crypto. That's like 3-year 4-year cycle. You're going to get like a 5x to 10x on average. If the project doesn't go down. Not financial advice.
The key is selling at the right time.
We're talking 50 years, 100 years worth of stock market gains in like a 3-4 year cycle. This is something people need to wrap their heads around. And that's why me, Randy, pretty much everyone on the panel here has gone really hard by putting a lot of money into crypto, because we see that the gains are exponential compared to the stock market. And we don't want to wait till we're 70, 80, 90 years old, to become multimillionaires. That just seems like not a useful thing to do.
And when you talk about the gains in the stock market, we're talking about 5 to 10%. Generally, you're talking about ETFs. Generally, you're talking about like the VOO or the SPY. It's not like, hey, just throw a dart and pick whatever stock and you'll make 5 to 10% a year. It's really just the introduction of ETFs that have taken a lot of dumb money out of the markets, and you could not know what the heck you're doing and still make that. So so don't expect to do that just in the stock market. If you're like, oh, it's safer. I mean, it is, but it's also you still kind of have to know what you're doing a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm mostly talking about like the S&P 500 and the ASX 200 in Australia. Just similar projects to that where
if you think about
5 to 10%.
Part of the reason is you're locked out of the early stage investing on those projects, right? Could you have invested in Google early before the IPO? No, those doors were locked to you. You were completely locked out and shut out of early stage investment unless you had connections in Silicon Valley and you're an accredited investor. So if you're outside the US, it's even way harder to get into projects like that in the early days. So in the 80s technology run and then the later 2000s technology run, all those early stage doors were shut to you. But that's where a lot of these people have become billionaires, is because they were able to invest in the early stages of Web 1 and then Web 2.0, and all those doors were locked to you. Web 3.0, those doors are open. But with that, there's a lot of scams, there's a lot of crap, a lot of stuff that's out there that you have to vet and sift through, because essentially you're an early stage venture capital investment, investing in stages of projects where you never had access to that before. And with that, the reason the federal government says you can't invest in those, you're too dumb. We see some of these dumb comments from people. They have no idea about business development life cycles and how long things take. And they're like, I can't believe this isn't happening. This is a rug pull. And those people are making the argument for the Securities and Exchange Commission that says you're too dumb to invest in early stages. We don't want you to. What I hate about that is many of you aren't dumb. In fact, if you're watching this, you're probably not dumb at all. And you get these larger concepts. You just weren't born into a wealthy family. And so you want to change your finances. And so these doors have been unlocked. And Gary Gensler isn't really happy about that. And he's trying to shut those doors so that you can't invest until all the VCs are dumping on your heads at what's called an initial public offering, which is where they're making 100x and you're buying there, hoping it goes up from there. Well, now we have access to early stage funding, and with that comes sometimes businesses fail. Sometimes they have these amazing plans. They even have a good team, and their timing just isn't right, and it fails. So people are like, oh my gosh, the project I was in failed. It's a rug pull and it's a scam. And it was neither. It just failed. And they don't realize that because they've never had these doors open to them. A lot of people don't even have a high school education. And they're all of a sudden investing in early stage venture capital stuff, and they just don't know what they're doing yet. The cool thing about being humans, we can actually learn pretty fast. And with some experience in this, literally getting good within this one sector, which you can do part-time over a 4-year period, you can change your finances for forever. And over an 8-year period, you can become super wealthy. But this is something you have to like put conscious effort into and realize what it is you're even investing in. So that's why I'm super excited about this space. It retired me. I've been in real estate for forever, and crypto just took 4 years to retire me. And I'm looking for this next run too, because it's going to be really nice.
Just a quick question from Mark. Are you all in on crypto, or do you have stocks as well?
I have 0 stocks anymore. Sold them all. Sold my real estate holdings, all my investment real estate holdings, everything. It's like, the returns just aren't as good. Plus, the real estate market was way up, and I don't know. I think there'll actually be a next run again as they lower interest rates, if they lower interest rates, and then probably the run will be over, and there'll be at some point a big correction in real estate. So I just didn't want to hold the downside. So sell when it was up, and crypto was down at the time, so it was a good time.
So I wanted to point out that's an extremely important point that I hope that people get as they listen to bullish narrative about crypto in general and these gains, is to take profits. And the perfect example is the Doge, right? He had all this Dogecoin, and he's like, I'm the first person to make $1 million with Doge. And then he held it. He held it all the way down, right? He never sold.
I think he hit 3.
Yeah, sure, right? Like that is substantial money. But what happens is greed kicks in. Because, and this happened to me with VeVe in January 2022, when my vault value was just skyrocketing, and every day I checked and the value was up. And I was texting my buddies, and they were like, "Well, are you going to sell?" And I was like, "No, it's going to the moon." I sold some things. I did sell some things, right? And I did hold some funds back, but then I was also buying things that I thought hadn't pumped yet that were going to pump, and I didn't take the profits that I could have at that point in time, right? And I'd be sitting in such a better situation now if I'd held on to some of those profits. And everyone sounds like they seem like a genius, and they think they're a genius when the crypto bull run happened, because so many projects pump, right? And maybe it's a 2x or a 3x, but again, compared to your traditional finance space, that's substantial. And they're just like, I made 3x my money, which then gets other people to be like, well, I don't want to make 12% when I can make 3x. So then they throw in additional money in there. But it's really taking the emotion out of it and saying, these are the stages of price points that I'm going to take out a percentage of my holdings of this token or this project. You need to plan for that and have that in, because I promise you, I'm telling you right now, that euphoria hits and you're just like, oh, it's going to continue to go up. So I'm just going to hold, because it'll go up and then I'll sell. It'll go up and then I'll sell. And then it dips and you're like, well, it'll go back up and then I'll sell when it goes back up this next time. But then it dips again and then it dips again. And then we enter the bear market and you're in like the Doge, holding all of your tokens, right? So if you're in the crypto space, remember to set those goals, and everyone's going to have different thresholds, but you need to set different thresholds of price points on different tokens and projects to say, this is when I'm comfortable. Now, for me, one of the last things I'm going to do, though, as I'm selling on the way up, is I'm going to have a moon bag and just say, just in case, and that will help me temper that emotion to say, you know what, there is a chance that this token goes ballistic and I still have some skin in the game here, but I've taken out most of it so that if it does go back down, I'm good. So just something to please keep in mind when this bull run hits / if it hits, which I believe it will.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Great advice there. Not financial advice, of course.
Yeah, just my insights on what I'm doing. That's all it is.
That's right. Philip B has a question about, you guys all saw the $2.3 billion OMI transactions. I think it moved into OKX, not 100% sure. Philip B says it looks like it's from Joseph Jankin, which was Ecomi co-founder. I don't know if is he still part of Ecomi? Anyone know?
No.
Randy?
I haven't seen anyone else come, and usually I do get it. I don't know if I haven't checked the messages, but usually I do get, hey, here's the blockchain, hey, here's this wallet. But I didn't get that from anyone this time, so I haven't seen any proof that it was him. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying I haven't. Usually I get that.
Yeah. It could be the exchange gearing up for the bull run. Maybe they need more tokens. We're not really sure, or it could be some other exchanges that are going to buy it. Who knows? Do you guys know if OKX own other exchanges?
Wait, say it again.
I don't know.
Sometimes one exchange, if you look at the holding company, owns multiple exchanges. So, for instance, OKX might own a couple other exchanges, and maybe they're going to list OMI at some point. That was just speculation, guys.
Yeah,
we have no idea.
So if you watch on market cycles, which I've watched for the last 25 years, they've been fascinating to me because why we as human beings make the decisions we do. If I run around and say commercial real estate is a bad idea right now, I get 50 different people saying, no, you're wrong, and industrial this and that and this. And it's like, well, why is industrial so strong right now? And it's like, well, because they're all rented. But what happens when things slow down and they're not rented? Well, then it crashes. So right now they can't even fathom a time when they're unrented. And it's like, because we have what's called recency bias as human beings. The way the last 6 months or a year or two have been going, we assume that that's what will continue. And that is not the case. In fact, so often that's wrong, which is why 95% of people get market cycles wrong. It's because they're recency bias. So when things are going up, they can, especially in real estate, they get caught off guard tremendously. And so in real estate, I just bought while it was boring and everyone was telling me how terrible it was. Started to get worried when everyone's like, real estate's the greatest, and 50 million real estate channels come up and everyone's trying to be a real estate investor. That was exit time for me. You'll see the same cycles in crypto. They're just more compressed. So I love hearing NFTs are dead. I love hearing VeVe is dead. OMI's dead. Oh my gosh, it's a scam. Oh, it's so stupid. That's like music to my ears. That just confirms, okay, it's buy time. Buy. When I'm hearing, oh my gosh, VeVe will never stop going up. The OMI token will never stop going up. That's when I start to have warning flags of like, oh, okay, shoot. Yeah. If I hear that too much, then I just have to start taking profits. And that's just how the cycle plays out. I'm not a genius. I just watch these patterns. I know somebody with a fairly low IQ that made millions of dollars last bull run by literally buying when it was boring and then taking profits when everyone was saying it would never stop going up. It doesn't take a high IQ to do that. It's really quite simple, but simple doesn't necessarily mean easy. In fact, it's not easy.
Speaking of being not easy, I feel like there's two really hard parts. And one, everyone knows, oh, it's the bear market. It's really hard to see your investment go down. They're always in the red. Everyone knows that. But I feel like the lesser talked about one is when we're in the beginnings of a bull market and everything around you starts pumping except for what you have. How often have you guys seen that where people they have a good investment, they have a decent amount, and then other stuff starts pumping and like, oh, this isn't doing anything, and then they sell theirs to go chase the green candles?
That happens so very much. In fact, like Axie Infinity that I made such great returns on, kind of a lot of the people who bought it the time I did, I just waited and was patient. I was shocked at how many of those had already sold at massive losses. And I sold too early at 100x because the total return was absolutely ridiculous. I was buying land for $70 for a mystic chest, which came with 15 different items, and as well as a mystic plot of land. And those mystic plots later were going for $70,000 to $120,000 a piece. And yet all these people who had bought with me, right, they sold at a loss because for the next 18 months after we bought, it went down, and they sold at a loss because they chased into some other green candle. And they sold. I know they say OMI is the largest winner, but the truth is, like, the Axie Infinity land chest outperformed everything. It was like, that's, what was it? 3000x. Maybe it didn't outperform. OMI was about that kind of return.
OMI was at like 4 zeros. They were.
4,000x. Okay, so OMI.
In 2021, OMI was the top performer. The top performing.
Well, so but you're the top performer of
tokens. Yeah.
Of
Tokens in
tokens,
2021. Right? In 2021, yeah.
Of tokens, but when you put in the land chest and everything you got out of it, right? So
I got you.
It was a 3,000 to 4,000 X,
NFT.
depending on what did it touch a road or not, and what other items did you get in there.
Yeah, because it counts as an NFT, not a token, right?
Right. So it's not measured on the same scale, but OMI crushed it.
Randy, to what you're saying about green candle chasing, I have a friend of mine that he was playing with about $80,000 to $100,000, and he just kept chasing green candles, and he actually did fairly well. But like I tried to copy his strategy a little bit, and every time I did, I pretty much lost money. It was not good to try and chase green candles. I'll never do that again. That was last bull run. I made more than I lost still in the last bull run, but it's definitely better to hold your conviction on the ones you think and just hold on to them. Generally, they will pump at some point or another, but they don't all pump at the same time. And that's something that people that just, and if you sell early too, then and you're up, you have to pay higher capital gains, right? If you're always changing over tokens.
Mm-hmm.
So you might end up owing heaps more tax and have less gains at the end if you keep chasing green candles like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you literally just hold it till your narrative succeeds or fails, and you just patiently wait. If I had jumped ship early, there was times I was very worried. There was 3 different times where I was strongly concerned that Axie Infinity would fail, and they were close to failing, and yet they didn't, and they made incredible returns. So if I had been they're dead, I haven't seen an AMA in 5 months, I'm out of here. I'm selling everything at a loss and going to roll it into Doge because it just pumped 10x. That's what happens, actually. And that probably specifically happened.
So I remember in 2021, as I was really starting to get into investing in crypto, and I only had a few positions at the time. And I was talking to Rain, and Rain's like, "Oh, this project's pumping for me, and this project's pumping for me." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, nothing of mine is moving." And it was so hard to not want to sell my positions that weren't moving and get into some of those, right? Even just experience, even though I know it was going up, I'm like, can I get in there before it's gone up all the way and make something? And I just had to tell myself, you know what? I need more diversification. Instead of doing that and trying to jump into these pumps, right? I just need to be able to build out a portfolio that's diversified so that something is typically moving at some, and that satiates that primal need, right? To win, basically, right? To experience that euphoric win is it's oh, this project's doing well, and you can kind of move those tokens around. And so that's the thing. OMI could do crazy good, right? But if there's a token that's able to pop before then that I'm in, and I can take some of those profits and then take the rest and then roll that into OMI before OMI pops, I'm going to be better off, right? So I just like that diversification strategy. But I'm still a little bit traditional finance. My risk tolerance is a little bit lower than someone like Jordan's or Randy's, where I still am in TradFi, right? I still play in stocks and experience that. And it is a safety net. It's not a good one. I know that inflation, the government's printing my money out of value every year, but at some point it's still there. And that satiates that need of just some safety, but the volatility and the gains and the potential wins there also has me have my foot in the crypto space as well.
Dr. Stuff, I'd love to know your ratio of crypto to stocks. Is it 50-50 or is it, and do you have real estate as well?
No real estate except for my house. It is all stocks. I would have to look. It's got to be nearing 50-50, and I'm putting more into crypto now. In looking at some of these projects that I do feel have that narrative that can meet that narrative, and they are animal concerts. The fact that someone just that's pretty bullish for me that someone responded on their Twitter, because some of the projects that I'm in that have killed in their Telegram groups and on their Twitter, you reach out to them and no one responds. And that's really concerning, right? The team has checked out. The fact that there's still someone there, they're paying someone, whether it's the team or someone that they're paying, is still getting paid to respond to that and address that. But like with animal concerts, when they responded, one of the things that they said, they still have like a partnership with Robin Thicke, and they have connections with Alicia Keys. Snoop Dogg talked about them in January of this year. So these are the types of narratives. That's why I love VeVe and I love OMI. I look at the team. I look at what they're building. That their project is filling a need that hasn't been met before, and it's solving a problem, right? But then you have that team behind it and that narrative and the funds to do that. So that's where there's some more risk with animal concerts is where are they getting the funds to do the rest of this, and can they last? But if the bull run starts happening and they have some marketing funds left and they can get that token price up, the team has tokens that they can then sell to continue to fund and kind of replenish themselves and get going, right? So yeah, I'll have to look at that, Jordan. I'll have to let you know exactly like what those balances are. But I think that we have more stocks now, but crypto is catching up.
That's awesome. Yeah, because you're a little bit more like you said, traditional, but like obviously you see the value in the crypto, and that's why it's catching up to your stock portfolio and might overtake it soon if it hasn't already. Especially once it goes up, right? Once it goes up and does a 10x, it'll be much higher than your stock portfolio. And next cycle, you might be like, screw stocks, I'm selling them all, I'm going all in crypto. We'll have to wait and see.
That's what I did last time. Good times.
What's the questions about OG votes?
Yeah, I'm about 60% traditional, 40. Actually, I was about 70-30, but we just recently took some more money out of an old IRA and move it into some more Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Woo!
So
you got the Bitcoin?
Yeah. So we're trying to get like I think the goal was like 3 Bitcoin, 10 Ethereum. Like we're getting there. Like we have certain we have XRP, Cardano. The only one we don't have that I still may is Solana, maybe because
gotta get it.
You guys are like, and then my husband's always doing like Rain, like, oh, I like this one and I like this one. And I'm like, no, like even in my crypto, I'm still traditional, except for OMI, of course. I'm still traditional. Like I want the top 5, where
those are pretty safe bets, right?
They're safe, right? Like, I mean, like I get that. Okay. Let's just say, that Bitcoin doubles. Let's just say it goes back to where it was at 60, and I double my money. To me, that's a huge effing win because do you know how long it takes me to double my money in my 401k? Like, so
10 to 20 years.
But I get where you're going, like where you guys are going sometimes with these projects where it can go 100x or 200x, but I'm just not as comfortable as, to just kind of do that. Like I'll take my 2x, my 3x would put me over the moon. That's, yeah. So
I personally think Bitcoin is going to do like a 4 to 5x in the next run. Here, with all the stuff happening.
Yeah, like 150 seems fairly easily. I mean, you have so many ETFs that are about to be approved for this. I think Danny shared the photo where, here's what happened with a gold ETF happened, and this is. I mean, most people in general don't. People in general just don't invest, or they don't know how to invest. I feel like we're in this kind of little fishbowl where we're all talking about investing, and we do traditional, or we do breakdown of our percentages, and most people are just like, I don't know, man. I got a savings account, and that's it.
Yeah.
So,
and that savings account is giving him nothing. But so I just calculated if you were getting a 12% return, right, on compounding interest, which 12% is above market performance in general, right? You typically don't get 12%, but let's say that your portfolio manager is doing awesome and you're getting 12%. It takes a little over 6 years. So the crazy thing is that's an entire crypto cycle and a half, right? Just to double your money in TradFi comparatively, right? So I still have that as a safety net. I am a little bit more conservative that way because I always like to say just like what if worst case scenario. And Danny the Bull did that, right? With your video on OMI and what could happen there. And then I kind of did a video that kind of talked on some of those points there. It's important. It's important to have that what if scenario. If what happens if somehow crazy the governments all regulate crypto out of existence, which I don't think is possible, but what if, right? And crypto all goes to zero. Well, then I still got something. But
right, that's how I feel. Like
yeah.
that's exactly how I feel. You know, like at least
As long as you guys aren't stacking cash, right? Because cash is trash.
No, yeah,
You've heard that?
cash. No, do not be. No, I do not. I do not hold in cash. No, but
I mean,
yeah. Well,
now I feel like
Go
now
ahead.
it's the opposite, where you expect the government and you expect people to be themselves, and you expect corruption and people in power to do themselves favors. So you know that they're stacking down here. You know, as soon as Fidelity came out and JP Morgan Chase came out and said, we're going to offer Bitcoin options, but only to like the top 1% of clients. You knew what was coming down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hold on, guys. I have to shout out the Todd McFarlane. This is the Joker variant. And it is so freaking dope.
That is
That's cool.
amazing.
It's so awesome.
Where'd you get that from?
From Todd McFarlane. I did a pre-order. They announced it back in like March or something of this year, or April, and it just barely came. I've been so excited because I'm still trying to search out and make sure that I can get so the Todd Batman, he's got different, I don't know if you call them versions or like releases or something, right? So like the original 500 release, those are going for premium, but I've got to find, thanks Magic. It's so awesome. Oh, the face looks so much better than it does on the box too. But so I would love to get an actual original Todd, like that one of 500, but just making sure that it's not a knockoff or something. I don't pay substantial. I get really shy or like just nervous about doing something like that. And that's why I love digital. It's that blockchain provenance is there where I'm like, yep, I know that this was created from the owner. This is where it's coming from and it's real. It's so tricky in the physical space to make sure that you're not getting something that's a fake, So, well, hey guys, looks like I'm going to miss out on David, but send him my love. And I can't wait to hear the questions that are asked there. And so take it.
We love you, Doc. You're a legend.
Coming on.
Bye, Doc.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, Doc.
Then there was
I love
fun.
that dude.
He's amazing. If people knew how smart he is, we've been friends for a long time. And it's like he is freaking genius level smart. And it was funny. He does really deep analysis. He is open to changing his mind. He invested a little bit in crypto, and I was trying to persuade him, and he's like, nope. I have some ETH. I have a little bit, and it's way down. I'm not gonna look into it because he had the concept wrong. But once he kind of saw that it was changing, he went all in. And frequently I call him and ask him, like, he actually told me about this new project that had just launched. He suggested I get into it. It was called Bored Ape Yacht Club. I just put $52,000 into me bits though. And I was just like, that was all my liquid cash. And I was like, oh, that looks good. But I just put 52,000 into me bits. I'm like, crap. And he sent me one particular. He's like, you should buy this. It's only 1 ETH right now. And it was this laserized cyber Bored Ape that later went for 1.5 million. It's selling at the time for 1 ETH. Like, crap.
You need to listen to him.
What's that?
You need to listen to him.
Yeah, in the NFT space, like that, it's kind of like I don't get into meme coins. It's not that you can't make money into it, but you have to be so focused in that. Same with like profile pic NFTs, because how many things have come out that just have not done well. And so I just don't have huge awareness. I did go with MeBits because they were produced by Larva Labs, who had CryptoPunks. And I made good money on it. Like initially it went poorly, and then it later reversed, and I made really good money on it, but nothing compared to Bored Ape. If I put 52,000 into Bored Ape, the time the floor on those was 0.08 ETH and to 0.011 ETH. And then the really cool ones were going, like that one was going for 1 ETH, which was higher than everything else. And shoot, yeah, that would have went from 52 million or 52 to probably 52,000 would have probably went to 52 million. I mean, they had massive gains on those. Like,
do you guys think
1,000x. What's
Do
that?
you think Bored Ape Yacht Club will run again next bull run? Do you think
Yeah.
NFTs like
Yeah, but it's had its massive gains, right? It's already had its 1000x, and though it's pulled back, it probably won't go 1000x. It's really unusual as something that did so well in one cycle, the next one have really, really gigantic gains. So will it probably have like 4 to 20x? Probably. And probably like Bored Ape Yacht Club holders, it will be like an NFT that's a huge social flex in the future for forever. Kind of like holding a Banksy or holding a Picasso. But is it worth it? Well, shoot. No, I would rather put my stuff into things that will have bigger potential for higher gains. And then later, if I want to buy one, I can. So, which is why I don't hold a lot of Bitcoin, though I think Bitcoin is the safest of the different crypto projects. And it's not completely safe. If it ever has an exploit in it, it could be bad news for Bitcoin, but it's just the safest, most trusted, probably more safe than the fiat currency that's in our banks, right? So there's no true such thing as safe. So I look at risk levels, and Bitcoin's risk level is way down, but then its returns, we could have a super cycle and the returns could go 100x on Bitcoin, which shouldn't happen, but it might if ETFs are approved. If the US currency just completely devalues itself, then we'll see like crazy returns on even things like Bitcoin. But more likely the way it plays out is Bitcoin does a 5 to 20x, and altcoins that are good go 40 to 1000x. So the riskier altcoins, a lot of your blue chips like Solana and Cardano, unless things go massively gangbusters, they'll probably do a 10 to 25x.
Message from David again. He's just going to do come on tomorrow. He's
Okay.
just been really, he's just playing a bunch of catch up.
Sure.
We'll probably wrap this up then in about 5 minutes, if you guys are cool with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I was going to say, Rain, when you pull out your gains next run, are you going to move a lot of it to cash or USDC and USDT or Bitcoin?
I'm a strong believer in buying a house that you want cash, right? So how big that house is, look, after your first run, it's not a bad idea to pull out some money enough to pay taxes and buy a house outright. I, wanted to wait because the housing market of the place I moved to was quite expensive. So to even buy the house that I had just sold would have been 2.5x for the same house in price. And I was like, ooh, no. And so I didn't get a modest home. I could have, and then just had no payment, because that puts you in a really strong place. If you buy a pretty modest home and it's paid off, it puts you in this pretty solid foundation. And I like that kind of solid foundation for people, even though it cuts into your capital that you have available to invest during the bear market. You now have no home payment. And so you can then dollar cost average quite well during that following bear market. And so it just puts you in a strong place. But the bigger gains, like, I'm going to be taking profits, and I'm going to be buying some real estate, some cash. Eventually, I'm going to move a lot of my holdings over to Bitcoin, ETH, and a few of the blue chips like Cardano that have decent staking, and just be taking passive returns. I mean, ETH has passive staking, Cardano has passive staking. And then just take that, and yes, it'll still retrace. That's fine. But it'd be a better place to be than probably the US dollar.
Awesome. Yeah. So you will actually keep some of your holdings, all of it.
We're losing your audio for some reason, Jordan. It's super distant.
He's back now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
you're good. We're good. Yeah. So you're not going to just cash out everything into fiat and then
I'll cash out a bunch, just because it depends on how savage the higher it swings up. The last thing you want to do is be in the risky projects when it swings down. Like Bitcoin will often retrace 85%, which sucks. But compared to altcoins that retrace like 99.6%, 85% down, like an 85% retracement where it's still worth 15% of what it was, that's not as bad. Because then, Bitcoin will probably still be around, probably won't get rug pulled, and probably do well. So fiat is somewhat risky, right? So I'll have to evaluate it. I would roll it into real estate if real estate would get a lot cheaper, but it's done nothing but run up. And I expect if they lower interest rates next year in the US, that real estate's going to run up even further. Some other countries will probably do similar. So unless I can find a nice country that I can make smart investments in, I'm just scared of the US's real estate market that I feel is massively overinflated. Canada's even worse. So we'll have to see, right? If you're buying something that you're going to live in, you're paying cash. The cool thing about real estate, if it reverses it massively, then that means it reverses down 70%, which is nothing compared to what an altcoin can do on retracement.
All right, cool. Just to clear things up, David can't make today, guys. I'm sorry. He's going to come on tomorrow. We'll do episode 46 around the Coinverse tomorrow. So that is exciting, but also disappointing, but it's okay. It happens. He's a businessman. He's running a giant business. You guys know. So unfortunately, we'll have to wait till tomorrow for that.
I feel like this is where what's his name is trying to go and ask Commissioner Gordon, like, you have the bat signal on. Why isn't he here? And Commissioner Gordon's like, hopefully because he's busy. And that's just him meeting with licensors, doing a bunch of stuff with different things. Very, very bullish.
Yeah, look, I always knew booking David in is always a 50-50 whether or not he has a meeting. And he told me he did have meetings before this, and obviously they ran over and all that, so that's totally fine.
We should we'll do one more thing, and then we'll talk off camera for a bit.
Yeah, sweet. Sounds good. Do you guys all want to give your parting thoughts? Danny the Bull? What do you want to leave?
Yeah, man. I'll just keep on doing what you're doing. Everyone keeps on making content and pushing forward. And tomorrow, hopefully we get David on here. My plan is just to keep on stacking for as long as I can in the next few months. Hopefully prices don't need to run up too much.
Feel free to shout out your show as well. You got the No Bull show on Thursdays.
Yeah,
right?
so I like hosting roundtables. I love a Comiverse and being a participant, a guest. But I also love hosting, so I like facilitating conversations and like directing things. So I started my No Bull show on trying to run it every Thursday. I'll hopefully get you guys on here, all of you at some point, and just try to bring in a bunch of different people and different voices to mix in. I also like to get mixtures of perspectives. Spark conversations and whatnot.
Cool.
Awesome. Exciting. Randy, you got any shows planned?
I have a couple. There's Mona ETH that's coming on. We haven't figured out a date yet. Big move yesterday. So
that Mona you're talking about?
Yeah. So she'll be on at some point. We haven't figured out a date yet. Vincent Zerzolo, the creator of the Addiction comic, will be coming on Saturday. And then I'll have Lori on at some point to go and like really promote the gold logo card they're auctioning and the Queen's Court Charity and First Responders Children's Foundation. So just mess with me about that. So that's as far as like other shows that I have. And I have two others that aren't really crypto or Web3 related. They're more X-rated, and those gets to be really fun.
Mushroom chocolate.
Only fans Funko unboxing.
Only fans unboxing.
That would be really fun. That would get a lot of get a list full of rolls. And then if Rain always shouts out his show. If you want to go and become a Rainmaker member, use code Randy for the course and get some money off.
No. Use code Jordan.
Randy. Use Randy. If you don't use Randy, you ain't. I'm not going to quote Biden on that. But if you don't use Randy, you're. I don't know. Just
what's the line? You got to finish it.
So the line was, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
And
that's the quote. I'm not going to, that was just referencing what he actually
just said. Biden before he works out how to get off the podium, or?
It was in the last election. So I don't think he said anything that crazy in the last 2 years. Maybe he has. I don't know. But yeah, that's Randy. Okay, sorry. All right, you go, Queen VeVe. It's up to you.
Yeah.
I have nothing after that.
What are your show? You've got your show on. Do you have Queen's Court this Thursday or Wednesday?
I'm not sure. I am actually going to go get surgery at the end of the month, right after Thanksgiving. So I'm kind of debating: do I go back and just do a couple of them, knowing that I gotta, I'm going to be out for a few weeks. So I don't know, but I know I'm going to be trying to make a few appearances on YouTube, etc. Trying to just, really get hype up for the VeVe logo and get a good donation for it. But I'm, like I said, I'm not real sure. I only have a few more weeks left until I have to get that. But if not, next year I'll be starting it back up again. So just trying to work through that. But yeah, looking forward to tomorrow. And today, we did good, all things considered. We talked a little.
We kept the people entertained.
Shout out to Fogue for the super chat. Thank you, Fogue. Congrats on the reso, and get that Becky whenever you can.
Yeah, they put that back on the screen. It's just it was covering your whole face up, so I didn't want to cover up your
That's
face.
Yeah, Randy, you're always so short in your videos. Like,
I'm a short king.
Like, look how much head. Like, look at everyone else. Like, look at Crypto Rain. He has like that much. You have like a whole wall. Like,
have you guys seen those videos on TikTok where these girls will go into like these guys' live streams and you're like, "Oh, what up, short king?" And the guys will be like, "I am 6'2". I ain't no short king." Like, they get so freaked out. It's one of the most hysterical things. Outside of like when women ask their significant others how often they think about the Roman Empire, those are really fun as well. Because guys think about it a lot, and then when the girls ask them, they're like, "Oh, I think about it a couple times a week," and they're like, "What? Why do you ever think about the Roman Empire?" And then they go on their reasons why. It's great times.
Rain, do you want to finish us off there? Anything you want to shout out?
You want to read that?
Well, what's funny is, I call it buying when it's boring. And you've seen those that came in 2021 who watched a whole bunch of people wash out. In fact, some people that dedicated their entire channels to VeVe or OMI, they've washed out and they've fudded on it and like, oh, it's terrible. And they just don't understand market cycles. And they think they're having an original thought. It's a very unoriginal thought that happens in any asset class where you have these market cycles. Now, crypto is very compressed market cycle with very, very volatile. So it goes way down and they're just like, VeVe's done, VeVe's dead, or OMI's done, OMI's dead. And they just don't realize how unoriginal that idea is. It's just a bear market. And this is just what happens. And OMI isn't anywhere near dead. VeVe is not anywhere near dead. They're one of the strongest projects in the whole blockchain space because they actually have revenues coming in. And most of these early startups don't even have revenues coming in yet. And they're just coasting off of the money they raised. And so they're in a very strong position. These people just don't know it. Now, I came in the space as an investor because I saw the compressed cycles with massive gains. I was like, yes, I've waited for this my whole life. But still, when I was new, I made some mistakes. And that's what the course I created is called Zero to Crypto Hero for those interested in it. You can use Jordan or Randy's code. I have a different one, but feel free to use theirs, being on this space. It's the same discount. Essentially, it's almost 50% off if you use those codes. So, yeah, definitely use those codes. And it helps Jordan and Randy. Like we made a deal. And it's like I produced that course because I've been watching cycles for 25 years now. And these courses, like these cycles just happen. They play out the same way. And it has me really excited because short of World War III, which will interrupt everything in the world, and who knows how it plays out, I don't see why we're not in a massive bull run in the next anywhere from a couple months to like 18 months. And that those that have been investing smartly have savage gains that you couldn't have got anywhere else.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for watching, guys. I'm sorry we couldn't get David Yu on today, but hopefully he'll be here tomorrow. Make sure you look out for that on X. Yeah, and
22 hours.
Yeah, he'll be here.
22 hours, guys. Just stay up.
Randy's going to continue a live stream until then.
Yeah, Randy's going to stream for 22 hours, guys. Again.
I will not never again. No, I'll get one day. Bye, Dad.
I don't know. Do you guys remember whenever David came on? We were on with David. David had popped onto the stream and he was saying how David was going about his day and he saw a message from legal on his desk, and it was like legal saying, Randy Chavez is threatening to be on a stream until you show up. And it was like 22 hours old.
It was.
I remember that. That was awesome.
Thankfully,
Randy's like on his bed. He's dying.
I got it cleared up with him. Like, no, it wasn't me saying that. It was other people saying that. And I was streaming anyway. And people were just like, oh, stream until David comes on. Yeah.
All right,
good time.
I'll pack it up.
We won't do that.